Oh, I was playing this TikTok. Let's start it from the start.
Very careful when you say establishment.
Right.
Because what so many people mean, and what Bernie Sanders absolutely means, is black people.
So I've been meaning to talk about this for like a week and some change now, but I want to talk about the whole democratic influencers saying, like, tweeting or putting on threads, whatever, that using the establishment term and how, like, the DSA has been using establishment is really a placeholder for the N-word. And you know who was up under them comments? Jasmine Crockett. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. I've been made videos, like, maybe it was like 2-3 weeks ago at this point.
Yeah, that's what we mean when we say Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are the establishment. Yeah. It's crazy that they caught on. I can't believe it. You know what I mean? I can't believe it. The secret's out, I guess. Secret's out, folks. It's over.
You can scroll. But the reason why I have such issue with a lot of the Democratic politicians, specifically the black ones, is because they know what they're doing. They're leasing out our identity, our radical tradition, our revolutionary history. They know, they read the books, they went to HBCUs, they were the first to do this or accomplish that, they were the only black woman in their job or whatever the fuck. They know what it is. But instead of using that position to turn back to community and hype up the things that are really central to our existence in terms of black people and pushing us forward and making sure our community is straight, making sure we have the programs we need, making sure that we are all being lifted up, they then turn that inward to enrich themselves and then market that back to you as if that's progress. The reason why these white democratic fucking influencers are coming on here saying, doesn't that sound like the N-word? It's because their position is being challenged by a more left, and that's, you know, in quotations, a more left than them option.
Yeah, I mean, the other side of this argument is, yes, literally, it implies that, like, you know, Nancy Pelosi is now officially black. Like, establishment Democrats are black, regardless of the fact that they're not. It's just crazy. Also, saying this about DSA is really funny because, like, there's like one white guy in the entire country that's running. There's literally one white man. Right? Am I crazy? I feel like there's how many white guys are running as DSA candidates? Like, what the fuck are we doing? What are we talking about? It's so strange. There are very few white men running on the DSA platform, DSA affiliated, or even like close to our politics in general, right? Is mostly black and brown women. So even on that front, it doesn't make sense. Not that it matters. What matters are the policies. But I don't know. I find it very odd, this argument. I mean, I'm glad she's ripping it apart, but
for people to choose for that are sticking to the script. They're going on these platforms and they're saying what their policies are. Very
someone sent me that OG video.
Clear, very transparent, no hoops and dance parties and all of that extra fluff and shit. They're straight to the point. Affordability, climate crisis, taxing the rich, all of these things, universal health care, universal child care. Things that people want to hear, things that people need, things that Trump ran on in order to get people to, obviously vote for him, that he obviously was lying about actually implementing, because our lives are a flaming piece of dog shit right now. Democrats would rather punch left instead of actually having an effective strategy for any of the new upcoming elections that are happening. Midterms are in a few months. That's number one. Number two, 2028 is looming. And do you hear who's going to be running for president? Have you heard something? Are they learning from their mistakes with last time? It doesn't seem like it. Literally, Cory Booker and a bunch of Democrats just voted against a bill that a Republican put up to the floor about, ending funding for Israel.
You have to be very careful when you say establishment.
Right.
Because what so many people mean, and what Bernie Sanders absolutely means, is Black people. Right. Especially from somebody who ran in two presidential primaries, because presidential primaries are often decided by Black voters in the South. So when he talks about, the establishment, whatever, he's not talking about Debbie,
right,
Wasserman Schultz. He's talking.
What? Why wouldn't anybody be talking about Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who literally carpetbagged into a Black district in Florida? Like, these people are living on a different timeline, right? I mean, I had Elijah Manley on, Florida 20, a district that Debbie Wasserman Schultz carpetbagged into. She absolutely is an establishment Democrat. What the fuck are you saying? God, these fucking grifters, man. They're not even trying hard. Yeah, also, Bernie ran against Joe Biden, who's the other contender, the establishment contender, and Hillary Rodham Clinton. Okay? Reminded that the under the desk person was a Romney voter and is non-binary.
Of the Black voters in South Carolina who did not like him. And that,
I thought that person was chill. Why are they agreeing with this nonsense? It don't make no dang sense. Yeah, by the way, it is very odd that the CBC is staying out of the Florida races, including Florida 20.
Even Hassan Piker, people on the far left of the party will start talking about, like, well, maybe Black people have too much power in the party. Maybe Black people.
When have I ever said that? Literally, when have I ever said that? That's crazy. I hope get multiple Black people elected in the primaries so far. No white people so far. Not one. You know what I mean? Not a single dang white person. I guess maybe one DEI white guy in the New York City DSA slate. And he's Jewish and he's gay. But that's it. Wait, their face is like, what?
Piker, people on the far left of the party will start talking about, like, well, maybe Black people have too much power in the party. Maybe Black people have.
They're like, ah. Who the fuck is Amanda Nelson? I have no idea. Brad Lander is gay. I didn't work with the Brad Lander campaign. I'm talking about Oliver. I'm not Oliver Larkin. Sorry, fucking. No, New York City DSA slate. Not Brad Lander is not on the DSA slate. No, not Oliver Larkin. Sorry, Oliver Larkin is another white guy, but he's not gay. David Orkin is who I'm talking about. Also, Oliver Larkin, David Orkin. What the hell's going on? Brad Lander is not even in DSA any longer. I'm talking about David Orkin.
Too much. I've seen people on TikTok say that.
What? You've seen people on TikTok say that I think black people have too much power? That's crazy. Okay. What if people on TikTok were like saying you're a pedophile? Would that make it the case? You know what I mean? If I ran around saying stuff like that, that would be an insane that'd be an insane thing to just claim, right? Oh, I've seen people on TikTok say that. The fuck? I can't believe she just says my source, TikTok.
Shut up.
And
because when black voters have more power in the party and more power in politics in general, that is the boat that raises all ships, because they vote for progressive policies that benefit their communities and therefore everyone else. Bernie is trying, and his friends are trying to come at it from the...
What is this angle that like Bernie Sanders' policies are just not progressive? Is that what the argument is? And the reason for it is because like black people in the primaries didn't vote for Bernie? Is that like that's how we... this is such a strange argument to make. We've moved beyond standpoint epistemology. Also, this is such a nasty way to do commentary. What a cynical application. What a cynical application of just the most hollowed out version of shallow identity politics. That's crazy. For the longest time, black revolutionaries, black radicals were, and the entire civil rights struggle was determined to be communist, right? By right-wingers, by Republicans, by racists, by white supremacists. That was the whole meta. Now you got liberals claiming every black person is monolithic in their approach to politics, and they're all invested in neoliberalism. But by virtue of black people voting for establishment Democrats, that means establishment Democrats are the most progressive. It's just like so strange. How about people are not monolithic? How about there's definitely a generational divide with voter participation in every demographic, and certainly in the black community as well. And that's pretty much it. The civil rights movement wasn't made out to be communist. It was just communist. I mean, there were different elements in it. You know, obviously the biggest advocates were primarily socialists, communists, and the like. Yes. The Black Panther Party. MLK was a socialist. Not that it matters. I mean, it's just such a strange thing.
The other direction, that my white working class populism will raise the ship of civil rights in this country, and that is fucking delusional. It's delusional. That has never worked. That's the same shit Woodrow Wilson said. And look what we got, the resurgence of the Klan.
There's no way she believes this, right? She's just getting paid for it, right? A white woman quote tweeting a black woman saying this is peak Twitter. Yeah. Audrey saying they're rat fucking Dr. Abdul El Sayed the way they rat fucked Bernie Sanders 10 years ago. Here, rat fucking refers to allowing black people to vote. It's awesome. So what's going to happen eventually? Like, you know, the more black voters move in the direction of the insurgent left flank, as we've seen already, at that point, what is the establishment narrative going to be? What's their narrative going to be then? That like all the black people that are voting for socialist candidates or self-identify as socialists are just not, like Sri Tanadar in Detroit is a great example of this, right? Donovan McKinney is Detroit's a very black district. Donovan McKinney's running against Sri Tanadar. Sri Tanadar is Indian, of Indian descent, of Indian background. Donovan's black. Donovan also happens to be the DSA endorsed candidate. And yet, Sri Tanadar has flooded the market with a barrage of ads. And he's actually, performing decently well, regardless of the fact that he is a pretty weak candidate, right? It's supposed to be a super weak candidate. And there are a lot of black people in the district that are, seemingly in favor of voting for Sri Tanadar over Donovan, who himself is black. So what is that? Like, how does that calculation work in that situation? Does that mean Donovan is no longer black and Sri is? How does that work? I'm asking sincerely, is Donovan no longer black, but Sri is because he's the establishment candidate? He's the pro-Israel candidate? Got to think before speaking. Are you telling me that, or are you telling that lady that? We already watched this unfold with Haley Stevens versus Andy Levin. Sorry. Okay? Haley Stevens is not Jewish. Andy is. AIPAC backed Haley Stevens to the hilt in the same way that they are right now in the Senate race to defeat Andy Levin, who is Jewish. Stop listening to these fucking weirdos. Okay? They don't get to dictate who's black, who's not black. They don't get to dictate who's Jewish, who's not Jewish. It's such a strange way to do politics. Your blackness or your status as a Jewish person is not determined by how comfortable or uncomfortable you make the establishment. No one in the real world behaves like this. It's just these weird, centrist, candidate-backed, campaign-backed, DNC-backed losers that try to present a stupid argument like this. It's ridiculous. Focus on the policies first and foremost. Okay? I think she might not be white, not nitpicking, but I don't want you to get yelled at. What, the account? This account? This account? This person's not white? Alice Poole? Are you sure? What are they, like Italian? What is... No, Amanda Nelson. I'm not calling Amanda Nelson white. I don't know who Amanda Nelson is. I didn't say she was white. Where did you get that from? Anyway, yeah, that's crazy, man. That's actually crazy. I mean, this stuff is so silly, it's so stupid. I don't think any real person believes this shit.
Real. And we're still having these conversations, and instead of those Democratic influencers talking about the issues with the candidates, they'd rather stand them and create these whole weird ass dichotomies around race, and instead of trying to support what the people actually need and what the people actually want. Right? It is a popular position to abolish ICE. It is an extremely popular position to stop funding the war, Israel and their, bloodlust. That is an extremely popular position in the United States right now, current to this day. At this point, after what we've all seen on our phones for the past 3 years in terms of what's going on in Palestine and what's been going on for the past 80 years, it is absolutely batshit crazy for anyone in the Democratic establishment to be campaigning on anything related to Israel and anything less than abolishing ICE. Do you see what I'm saying? And yet, they will twist and manipulate and use black identity to cover themselves from any fucking responsibility. And these black politicians who are in it for their ego, in it for enriching themselves, in it for personal gain, are going to sit here and cheer them on while they do it, while it's under the guise, or they're claiming it's under the guise of protecting black people and protecting black women. I'm not falling.
The establishment equals the N-word was started by a white woman. Oh my God. It was that Susan Lambert lady. It sure seems like many people on the far left throw the term establishment around when they'd rather be using the N-word instead. There is white supremacy embedded in thinking establishment could ever compare to the history and gravity of being called the N-word. Establishment isn't a slur, it's just an adjective to Democrat. Stop entertaining these goofy white people and establishment Democrat leaders who behave like this. Yeah, Jasmine Crockett applauded this take, by the way. Oh my God. I mean, this kind of stuff is so stupid and it's so silly. It's so strange.